Okay, we're going to talk about the next gen control for the Autodot. Total redesign, all kinds of dedicated circuit boards and wiring, no custom wiring or jumpers or anything like we originally had to do. And so this was the original. So you can kind of see the difference here. For comparison, here's a 284 case, right? So you can see it's a lot smaller than this box. Functionally, it's the same. It's just a little more user-friendly. We've incorporated some LEDs here that show you when it's on the home switch, when it does the shoulder touch, and when you hit the limit, red. The cutting feed is now done with this toggle. We've labeled it slow, medium, fast. The rapid position potentiometer is here, where before it was here. We've got our start, our reset, which we had run and reset. And we've got the emergency stop power. So this control and box was a lot of pre-made components that we used, trying to be more cost effective, try not to drive the cost up with the Autodot, but we're trying to make a more reliable, more user-friendly, more compact control. So you see they're functionally the same. One thing we did incorporate is, you can see here we've got a fan, little fan in the back. Keeps the driver cool. We've also upgraded the stepper driver control. The actual driver board itself is about twice as powerful as the old one. So you can kind of see the physical differences there. So I'll show you how it works. So first, we need to read this warning. Machine harness must be plugged into control before releasing e-stop and powering on. If control is attempted to start without the motor harness plugged in, it will damage the control. That's very important. Meaning, do not power this up without the control harness plugged in. It goes to the machine, and make sure this white connector on the motor is plugged in. What happens, it basically sends a bunch of current through the driver, and there's no resistance through it, and it basically self impedes on itself and can burn up the driver. Okay, so we still have the same 12-pin connector, watertight, threads on so that it doesn't come off when you're using it or anything. You see we've got rubber feet on the bottom. So that engraving FCP, obviously it's our logo, but that's also the fan venting. So the air draws through there, through the little fan and out. Okay, so when we power it on, you can see here, we've got a couple LEDs lit. We've got home, and we've got powered on. What that means is we're on the home switch in the back, which is this switch here. The control will not run unless it's on that switch. We've had people call it before and say, hey, it won't run. You know, they've got it late, maybe slightly off the switch, and they go to start it, it doesn't start. Well, you have to be at that home position. Make sure you're back to that position. So you can see, when we roll that on the switch, that's what we're looking for. Now the other one is the emergency limit, this switch here. So you can see when I depress this switch, see that red LED light? Red means bad, right? So that means you don't have something adjusted right, your case didn't have tight enough in the case holder, something was out of adjustment to where it never hit the touch switch. So the touch switch, as you can see this blue light here, when I depress that's so you can see when it contacts the shoulder. I get this zoomed out so you can see there. And that LED matches the same one that's on this wiring harness here. So they effectively are the same thing. Okay, so we've talked about how it will not start unless it's on the home switch. So That's on the home switch. So we need to talk about something else, is this potentiometer, which is the rapid position. That's at what point the machine will rapid to before it goes into feed cutting speed mode. Some cases may hang out to here, some may hang out to here. So you adjust that to where your case hangout is. So I'll do kind of a maximum condition. We're on setting like, I don't know, 7.5. Okay? Put on our home switch. So we should be able to hit this. We run here, and you see where that rapid position is? That's the difference. So we have this thing cranked up as fast as it go on fast right now. Hardly nobody uses that. I've heard of guys like roughing with fast and then going back to slow. What we do, I recommend running it on medium or slow. So now, just say, no, we need to rapid closer to the case. And you can see here I've got a arrow closer to spindle that way. So let's put that on like 2.5. So now when we run this, you can see how much closer it is. So I'm going to let it, you see that? It hit the emergency because then it retracts back. It's telling you something's wrong. Well, we don't have a case in there, so nothing touched this. Do it again. Nothing touched the shoulder switch. So you'll see this LED. See that light up? That means you got a problem. So let's simulate we don't have a problem, and we're going to run normal. So we're going here. Push that there. As you can see, hit the touch switch. It feeds out and comes back. Now, the reset switch does the same thing as the touch switch, okay? So let's say you start that. And let's say you're like, oh man, I forgot to put a case, or I'm going too far. You can hit that switch without having to put your hand up here next to a rotating spindle, which obviously is not a good idea. Keep your hands away. Hit that switch and it will pull it back. Comes back, we're back on home position. So we've made this control about as user-friendly and self-explanatory as we can. Like I said, we got slow, medium, fast, start, reset. We've got our LEDs of home, shoulder touching, limit, our rapid position, power on, which means our e-stop is released because you can be here, right? So this tells you that it's on. Let's say you turn it on and it's like that. That's telling you, hey, the only LED lit is the limit switch. That's obviously no good. So pull it back. Now you're on the home switch. So you can see the fan here. I don't know if you can hear it. It's pulling air there, and just to keep that driver and the computer cool. So everything is, oh, that's a billet aluminum e-stop switch, where the original one was plastic. You had these great big old knobs, which were functional, just not very ergonomic. So you can see this control, it fits in the size of my hand, that's how big it is. It's about 4 inches by 3 inches or so. So all the Autodods that are shipping now have the next gen control. If you've got one of these and it's working fine, we are considering offering to where if you want the next gen control, which does the same thing, just more user friendly with more LEDs, that we would sell you this at a highly discounted rate if you send your original control back. So we have some of these left on the shelf. We're going to offer them at a discounted rate for the guys who want to upgrade their iDod to an Autodod as a retrofit kit. They're functionally the same, have the same guarantee as this one. Any problems, we replace it. They go through the same testing. It's all the same hardware internally, dedicated circuit boards. Like I said, it's just a little bit bulkier control. It only has one status LED, which is just a touch switch. It doesn't have the 3 plus the power on. So yeah, that's introducing the next gen control, and we think it's really gonna help users out so they can see the status of what's going on. And everything is built and dedicated just for the Autodod. There's no parts in here that are taken from another apparatus or anything. Everything is all printed circuit boards designed They all say Autodot on them. Everything is all dedicated boards. Just a lot better system. So yeah, that's the next gen control for the Autodot.